What's up, everybody? Josh Armijo here. I hope everybody's doing good and well and stuff. I got an album review to do for you, and I'm going to show it to you right now. This is the debut album from the band Hypoxia, entitled Despondent Death. This is released on Ultimate Massacre Productions. Now, if you're not too familiar with this band, they are based out of New York City, New York, and the best way to describe the sound of this band would be a very traditional, old-school rooted, thrashy style of death metal. Yeah. This band has been undergoing a lot of changes over the last several years when it comes to the overall presentation and lineup of this band. But in the transitioning of band members comes material that shows a lot of potential and promise. This band hasn't really put out too much in the way of material, but yeah, like I said, there's a lot of potential to be shown here. A demo in 2011 called The Purge, and an EP in 2013 called Public Execution. Solid stuff, a lot of promise, a lot of good ideas, and pretty much an idea of what kind of death metal this band is setting out to create. But moving forward into the later new year, we have another bit of a lineup change. We have a guy by the name of Nadir being added to the band as a new guitar player. He plays guitar in a really solid up-and-coming band called Lethal Entity, a band to be on the lookout for. And they brought in a new singer whom pretty much would be very well known to most death metal fans, a guy by the name of Mike Rovacek. You, of course, may know him best for his work with bands such as Monstrosity, Azure Remote, Vile. The list goes on and on, not to mention he's an incredible artist, too. So I was curious to see how things would work out with him being added as their new vocalist, and of course, as from what I understand, things are going along very smoothly, and they're getting great results out of it. Now we have the debut full-length from Hypoxia entitled Despondent Death. It's 10 tracks, and it clocks in at around 37 minutes in length, and upon giving this album multiple listens, I can tell that this is a death metal project that is going to have a lot of promise and pretty much rise even higher than where they're currently at now. I can sense a great deal of great things to come from a band like Hypoxia, and I think that this is some quality death metal to be heard here. It's quality for the fact that the way that the musicianship is handled here makes it feel like this is one of those death metal records that you can easily identify with and have a good time with. It's very well evidented in the riffing that's being done here, the dual sort of guitar riffing assaults that are being done on here. You hear it on tracks like Schizophrenic Killing and Stygian Tombs, to even later tracks like Unspeakable. I think the riff work is very awesome, very catchy. That's where you get a little bit of that thrashy sort of influence going on with the riffs. Very catchy stuff. It gets stuck in your head very quickly, and I like the fact that the songs on here pretty much space out the solos, because there's some really great solo work to be heard on here. It doesn't appear on every single song, but when it is, it gets its job done and moves along swimmingly. I like the fact that nothing gets overly dominated or tried to be taken over. I think the guitar work is very well balanced, and I like that about this record. When it comes to the bass, I really love this bass tone. It's very audible, very crystal clear in this mix, very well handled and well structured. I think the bass guitar is very good here, and that's what I enjoy a lot in death metal records, is hearing a very good and clear bass tone, and I think this production brings out the very best in the bass tone overall. Drum-wise, I think the drumming is very solid, very much a drum performance that stays intact and in tune and moves forward at a great pace. I love the fills, I love the blast beats, I love the overall song structuring. It has a very old school sort of death metal sort of vibe going on with this drum performance. It gets the listener's attention. It makes you want to listen even further and nod your head a lot harder. I really like this drum performance a lot, and it makes for some very great moments on here. Very entertaining stuff. And when it comes to the vocals, I really enjoy Mike's vocal performance here. He's a very durable, sturdy sort of front man. He knows what he's doing. He has some great ideas, great songwriting aspects, great lyric writing, and he does so with incredible incredible gusto here. I love his vocal style. It's very well worded and understandable. He's not one of those vocalists that tries to be over the top. He has a very good mission statement ahead of him, and on an album like Despondent Death, he does a really solid vocal performance. I really like the concepts that he brings forward with some of these lyrics. It has an almost unique sort of sci-fi element going on with some of the songs, going to tracks like Stygian Tomb and Primal Butchery. Even a song like Parasitic, you get some really solid lyrics being done here with this album, and it delves into the storytelling aspects of this album. You not only get a great death metal sound, but you also get some great little nuances to back it up. And I think that Mike's vocal performance is really solid here. So overall, if you're a fan of New York death metal, if you're into old school death or thrash, you're going to find something to enjoy with Hypoxia. I think this is only the beginning for great things to come for a band like this, so I would really recommend giving this album a listen if you're into that kind of stuff. So, if I had to pick any favorite tracks, I would definitely have to say Schizophrenic Killing, Stygian Tomb, Church of Delusion is really solid, Unspeakable, and Parasitic. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave you some links in the description box as to how you can get a hold of this album and listen to it. I will link you to the Ultimate Massacre Productions Bandcamp page, where you can stream this album in its entirety, hear it for yourself, and be your own judge as to whether you think it's worthy of being purchased or not. You can buy it digitally, and it is also available in a physical CD format. Really good sort of layout being done here for this release. You got the band photos on the booklet, very good quality booklet, pro CD, everything. There's also t-shirt options available, and keep an eye out in case the band happens to have any copies to sell for themselves, so you can directly support them. So, again, the album is Despondent Death by Hypoxia. This is released on Ultimate Massacre Productions. Go check this out. And for a score, I'm going to give this a very strong 8.5 out of 10. This is a very, very memorable debut, and I'm looking forward to greater things to come. So if you happen to have heard this album, let me know what you think of it, and I'm going to conclude this review. Thanks all for watching. Thanks for checking out my channel, and until next time, Armijo out.